Children, I was telling you that we have been talking about the reproductive system before you went home, and we need to continue, but we need to remind ourselves of what we talked about. And the other time I told you that in the reproductive system, we shall be talking about vocabulary. You know words that we need to this topic. And the first one, we have reproduction, we have development, we have menstruation, we have growth, we have puberty, we have ovulation, we have adolescence, we have asexual, we have sexual, child spacing, family planning, we have twins, fertilization, menopause, fallopian tube, which can also be called oviduct. Then we have what we call ectopic pregnancy. Now, to begin with, let us start reproductive with reproduction. We are saying that reproduction is the process by which living things multiply themselves in number by producing their young ones similar to themselves. As you know, a dog will always produce a dog, a goat will always produce a goat, and other things. You cannot be a human being and produce a fish. You will be an abnormal species. Then development is the increase in maturity. Development happens in the brain of an animal or in the brain of a human being. Then we have growth. Growth is a constant increase in the size of an organism. You find when you are born, you are produced when you are still young and you are called a baby, but as you keep on taking many years, you will find out that you are increasing in size. Then we have what we call menstruation. This one happens mainly in girls. Menstruation is a monthly shedding of blood by the uterus walls when fertilization does not take place. Fertilization takes place in the oviduct, and have that word fertilization here. Fertilization is the union of male and female gametes to form a zygote. After fertilization has taken place, you will discover that a zygote will be formed, and that zygote will move down the part known as the oviduct, where it will develop. We have terms like puberty. Puberty is the stage of sexual maturity, or you can also say puberty is the stage in which a boy or a girl becomes sexually mature and active and can have a baby, but not yet ready. Also have adolescence. Adolescence is the transitional stage between childhood and adulthood. Person will always reach adolescent stage after reaching around 13, 18 years. Yes?
You've been in class.
Are you getting me?
So the link that was used.
Children, you getting me? Let's continue. Hello?
The matter is the same.
You can mute your microphones.
No,
I am getting you.
You're getting me?
Yeah.
Mute the microphones. Let's continue. We're talking about what asexual. When we talk about asexual, we are meaning one of the types of reproduction.
You can talk some idea.
Asexual reproduction. What about this?
We can't hear you. You're muted.
This was saying some.
We're not hearing you, teacher. We're not hearing you. You're muted.
You're put on mute.
You're on mute. Not hearing you.
Jaya, put your phone on mute. We can't hear anything.
Wrap up now. You speak. It's okay. Are you hearing me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're hearing.
It's okay. So we are talking about family planning. Family planning is the use of birth control method to plan when to have and when not to have children in a family. In order for you to produce, you have to produce the number of children you can take care of instead of producing very many children. So with that, we shall help you go for what we call family planning in the hospital. It is free of charge if you go to the main hospital, but if you go to a private hospital, they will charge you money according to the type 1. Then we have child spacing. Child spacing is the provision of enough time, provision of adequate time between the birth of children in a family. And then we have what we call twins. We all know about twins, where a woman, by coincidence, will produce 2 children at the same time or at the same birth. And then we have menopause. This is just a period when ovulation stops. Menopause happens in women, does not take place in men. A man can produce even after reaching 100 years, whatever. But a woman after reaching a certain period, for example, from 45 to 49 years, a woman will stop producing eggs, commonly known as ovum. And therefore, a woman can no longer produce. And then we have what we call fallopian tube. I told you, this is a very special part in the female reproductive organ where fertilization takes place. This is where an ovum unites with a sperm in order to form zygote, so that reproduction can continue. And then we have what we call ectopic pregnancy. This is one of the disorders of the reproductive system, where instead of fertilization taking place in the ovum, fertilization will instead take place in the instead of the fetus developing from the uterus, it will instead develop in the oviduct. Just after fertilization has taken place in the oviduct, which is okay, this the zygote is supposed to move down to start developing in the uterus. But for this case, it will just continue developing from there, which is an abnormal station. Under normal circumstances, I was meaning that fertilization is supposed to take place in the oviduct, and then the fetus is supposed to develop in the uterus. Are you getting me? Getting me, children?
Yes.
Hello? Are you getting me?
Yes, we're getting you.
Yes.
That is good. Now, after knowing the meaning of all these words, let us start with the first one. We are starting with the first one, and that one is going to be reproduction. going to be reproduction. What will tell you now what reproduction is? What is reproduction? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, what is reproduction? I've forgotten. Oh. Remember, Mr. Sheng told you that reproduction is the process by which living organisms increase in number by producing their young ones similar to themselves. Are you getting that?
Yes.
What is reproduction? What is reproduction?
Teacher, first repeat.
I say that reproduction is the process by which living organisms increase or multiply themselves in number by producing their young ones similar to themselves. Are you getting that?
Yes.
You can repeat for me what reproduction is.
Reproduction is the
Reproduction is a
uh-huh,
process by which animals multiply
by
in
which
number by
living
producing.
organisms
is a process by which living organisms multiply in number by producing their young ones.
by producing their young ones similar to themselves. That is good. Then growth, we say that growth is the physical increase in size of an organism. Physical means that you are able to see that this baby of ours was produced last year when the skin was a little bit yellow, brown, but right now the skin is changing from being yellow, being a little bit black because of too much accumulation of melanin. Melanin is that pigment that determines the skin color of a person, and the skin gets it right away from the sun. And then from nowhere, you will see a baby beginning to move, beginning to run. From running, a baby will be taken to the nursery school. From there, P1, you see, the baby is growing, increasing in size. That is what we are meaning by the word growth. And then development, I told you, development happens in the brain. How do you reason? How do you think about certain things? How do you judge two events? How do you know that this one is good and this one is wrong? That one happens to your brain. Meaning that your brain is developing. In short, I'm saying development is the permanent increase in maturity. Permanent increase in maturity. Once a person is already mature in the brain, you cannot again change that person, become a fool or to become a stupid person. So if they ask you that where does development occur, you say in the brain of an organism. Next, what we have what we call puberty. Who is reminding us about puberty? What is puberty? Getting me? What is puberty?
Puberty is the stage between adulthood and childhood.
Yeah, I say that puberty is the period of time when a boy or a girl becomes sexually active and mature and can have a baby, but not yet ready. So puberty is the stage of sexual maturity. You find a human being become active via sex. And the moment you have sex when you have already reached adolescent stage, then if you are a girl, you're most likely to become pregnant. That is what we are meaning by puberty. Puberty is the stage of sexual maturity. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes, good. So we are now going ahead to what we call adolescence. Adolescence is a transitional stage. A transitional meaning cannot happen at once. It happens step by step. The transitional stage between childhood and adulthood. Getting me? This is the stage whereby a person is graduating from being a child to being an adult. But you are in between there. You cannot be called a child, but you cannot be called an adult. But just in between there. And a person who is between child and adulthood is the one who calls him or her an adolescent. An
adolescent.
Very good. Who is an adolescent? Who is an adolescent? Yes, I can see you, Pali.
An adolescent is a person between.
An adolescent is a person who is between childhood and adult.
Very good. An adolescent is a person who is between childhood and adulthood. Hello, Aisham, are you getting me? Hello? Barak. Shadrach.
Yes.
Are you getting me?
Yeah, I'm getting you.
That is good. Then we are saying that when a person reaches what we call adolescent stage, we have what we call stages. The person will be undergoing stages under adolescent stage. Stages under adolescent stage. When a person reaches adolescent stage, the person will start showing some of the signs and the symptoms. When we talk about the signs, we are meaning things that can be seen physically, the person's body, and therefore we shall be able to tell, to know that this person is already under adolescent stage. So the stages that take place during adolescence are categorized into 4. So we have 4 stages which are involved during adolescence stage. And the first stage is called primary sex characteristics. Primary sex characteristics. Are you able to see what I'm writing here?
That's fine.
Primary sex characteristics. Primary sex characteristics. 2, we have what we call secondary sex characteristics. Secondary sex characteristics. The third one, how what we call psychological and emotional changes. Children, this word psychological might become something hard, right? But this is the way they write it. Psychological and emotional changes. Psychological and emotional changes. Emotional changes. Emotional changes. Then the fourth one, which is the last, we have what we call out of step adolescent changes. Out of step.
That one is working.
Out of step adolescent changes. Let us mention some of the stages which occur during adolescent stage. One, we have primary sex characteristics, secondary sex characteristics, we have psychological and emotional changes, and then the last one are what we call out of step adolescent changes. These are the 4 changes that occur in the body of an adolescent during adolescent stage. Are we together? Are we together there?
Yes.
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 That is good. So, having known that we have 4 stages that occur during adolescent stage, we need to talk about one by one. We need to talk about.
One by one. One by one.
Very good. So, which one are we starting with? Which one are we starting with?
Primary sex characteristics.
Very good. We are starting with primary sex characteristics. Primary sex characteristics. What are primary sex characteristics? This is what we need to know before we move any further. What are primary sex characteristics? Is there anybody with an idea? Anybody with an idea there? Lawyer Shama, yes, Ubali.
Primary sex characteristics are changes which involve the sexual organs being prepared for their function in reproduction.
In the reproduction, that is very good. So primary sex characteristics are changes that prepare the sexual organs for their functions in the reproduction. Find out that in order for reproduction to take place, there are different organs which are involved. To mention them, we have the testicles. The testicles are supposed to get involved because the testicles help in the production of sperms. Those sperms which are produced by the testicles or the testes are majorly stored in a part known as epididymis. Epididymis. Should I write for the spelling? Epididymis. Epididymis. This is the part of the male reproductive organ where sperms are stored after being produced by the testes. Are we together? Remember, they like setting that thing. Let us not say yes and yet we are not getting anything. So we're saying primary sex characteristics are changes that prepare the sexual organs in their function of reproduction. We are saying that primary sex characteristics can also be called basic sex characteristics. Can also be called basic sex characteristics.
What characteristics?
What is another name to mean primary sex characteristics? Basic sex characteristics. They are the characteristics that prepare the sexual organs. And they prepare the sexual organs to do what? To do their work of reproduction. Remember, the sexual organs are mainly used for reproduction. They are mainly used to produce other organisms, not for playing, not for joking. Are we getting that?
Yes.
Now, these primary sex characteristics occur differently according to sex. According to
Sex.
According to sex. Because when we talk about sex, we are not meaning the other one. We are simply meaning the act of being either a male or female. So the primary sex characteristics that happens in girls are different from those that happens in boys. We are starting. Hello, there are those who are playing in class. Hello? Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Hello.
So we're talking about primary sex characteristics that happens mainly in boys. Mainly in boys. How do you know that this boy has already reached the adolescent stage and mainly in the stage called primary sex characteristic? One, we are saying we are talking about primary sex Okay. Boys. Primary sex characteristics in boys.
Boys.
In boys. So the first one we have, who is telling us the first one? Primary sex characteristics in boys.
I know.
Find it? Someone is saying, I know. Olaya Shama telling us.
The pen is English.
Very good. The first one we have. The penis increases in size. Penis increases in size. Penis increases in size. When we talk about this one, you know, at the first when you are still very young, the penis looks small and tiny. But as you keep on growing, the penis also keep on increasing in size. Then another one we have the testicles. The testicles.
There.
The testicles.
You press.
Testicles start. Testicles start producing.
No, don't.
The testicles start producing sperms. Testicles start producing sperms. As I told you that reproduction cannot take place without the presence of sperms. The sperms will always unite with the ova in order to form zygote. Zygote is a newly formed baby, and the formation of zygote always happens in the oviduct. It is in the oviduct that fertilization takes place. After the formation of the zygote is supposed to move down the part known as the uterus or womb, and then maybe we'll start developing from there. Some people have been saying that my mother is having a baby in the stomach. The baby does not stay in the stomach, but in the uterus, which can also be called womb. We together?
Yes.
But the food is stored in the stomach for a short time. So you have to know that the difference between the stomach of your mother and the womb or the uterus of your mother. The uterus of your mother helps in the development of a newly formed baby. Meanwhile, in the stomach, the food that she eats will be stored there for a short time, waiting for digestion take place. Then we have the third one, the third primary sex characteristics in boys. We have the boys begin experiencing weight gains. The boys begin experiencing weight gains. Now, when we talk about weight gain, someone is now asking that what about dry dreaming? What about the dry dreams? When we talk about weight dreams, we are not meaning the other one, viewers, but we are meaning a situation where a boy, after reaching the adolescent stage, will reach in the middle of the night and will start thinking, will start dreaming that is having sex with a girl. Are you seeing that?
Producing sperms.
Then will produce sperms, and the following day you will find when your other part is wet because of that sperm. That is what we are meaning by the word weight dreams. So to show that you are now ready to produce, a boy will start experiencing what we call weight dreams. You just know that, hey, I have started this stage. That is what we call primary sex characteristics. Are you getting me?
Yes. Yes.
Good. After knowing the primary sex characteristics in boys, the first one we have let us mention the first one. Are you getting me?
Yes.
First one,
Yes.
the penis increases in size. The second one,
The testicles are producing sperms.
the testicles start producing sperms and
Sperms.
semen. You
The
know about
boys.
semen.
The
Semen
boys
is
start
that
experiencing wet dreams.
Yes, that fluid that helps the sperms to move. That helps the sperm to move. You know, even in a lake or in water body, in order for a fish to swim, there must be water.
Some people are looking at that.
So that thing called the semen simply helps the sperms to swim. Remember, the sperms are also gifted with what you call the tails. So the sperms use the tails for swimming. And when
Hello? Not getting you.
We're not getting you.
Teacher, what's up?
You're frozen.
They're looking at your photo.
It's bad.
Everybody is not seeing. Where didn't you go say?
Daniel.
What's up?
What are you doing?
We are participating. Now what?
I can see a big white teeth.
Eh?
I can see a big white teeth.
Maybe I can see a big nose.
What? Eh?
I'll send you the number.
What
Yes.
thing? Let me check.
The teacher is frozen. He's not there. Shama.
After
Shama.
it's even black. I'm not seeing any teacher.
I can send.
You have sent or you have.
I'll send later. I'm
Shama.
gonna send. I'll send. Next lesson. Yes.
Shama. Send me your number.
Yes, please.
Send me your number.
I'll send in the next lesson.
You know me.
I'll send.
Hey, Sharu.
I know you.
Eh?
Hey, Sharu. Hey,
Yes.
Sharu.
I know.
Send me your
Oh,
number.
look at this slide.
Okay, you send, eh? Hello. Who's talking with my son?
Hey, Sharu.
Opara.
Yes?
Opara. What's wrong with teacher?
You saying what?
What's wrong with teacher?
How am I supposed to know? Am I in Goshen?
Obone.
Yeah.
Obone.
Why the mall is connected?
Yes?
They told me that you're under house arrest.
Who told you?
You do.
It's lie. You guys, where's this teacher of ours?
Obone. Persuade. I want to see your
Hey,
body.
That's not good.
Hey, Sharu.
Obone.
Yes?
First put Obone on the camera. First put Obone. Okay, he's there. Obone.
Yes?
Opara. Opara.
Yeah?
Opara.
Yeah?
Send me your number.
Why are you
Who madam?
in your house?
Yeah?
Obone.
Opara.
Obone. I
What?
want to see your face, not the newspaper.
You're not
I want
even
to see your
seeing.
face, not the newspaper.
Obana has removed video.
So what?
Esharu.
Yeah?
What is dozing?
Esharu.
Yes.
So
And send me your number.
Eh?
Ah,
What I say?
yes?
Now what?
I'll text you.
Eshiaru.
Yes?
Eshiaru. Why did
Yes?
you say Charlene? Why did you say Charlene?
This brush.
That's brand. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You guys, who's Technopop 2 Plus? People are just moving around and
Yes?
saying their names.
me.
Who?
Yes? Oparo.
Yeah?
Where is the teacher?
Obone. Obone.
People are asking where is the teacher. You text him and you find out.
Oparo.
Emma has a wife. Do you know that Oluga has a wife?
Oluga, Oluga, what's her name?
Shadrach.
You're mad.
Yes, go.
Now.
Yes.
How many points?
Shama.
You guys are
Yes, ma'am. Where is the teacher?
Oparagbai are listening to you. Be there.
I'm saying, where's your chain?
Okay.
Where's
You
teacher?
see.
Why are you going to get a Agwell. Let's talk Go for okay.
Yes.
Hey, see how to face the S. Yes. Why not? Obone. Obone. Yes. Camera. Oluga.
There.
Yes. Oluga. Yes. Why didn't they open your mouth for that? Yes. Why didn't you connect? I've not got you. What is the peer connect? Opio. Yes?
For what? You will Opare.
Obone.
Yes.
Let's put you on camera.
Oluga, you're too close. You guys, who is this teacher?
We'll come back from that short commercial break and we are continuing. So we're talking about, before going for that commercial break, we're talking about examples of primary sex characteristics in boys. And we say that the penis increases in size. 2, the testicles start producing sperms and semen, and then the boys begin experiencing weight. 3, to show that they will be
Teacher, you're frozen again.
Teacher again is frozen.
Teacher, you're freezing.
the what?
Your network is bad.
Teacher, network is there. Yeah, your network is bad.
Primary sex characteristics in girls. Primary sex characteristics in girls. I've been looking at primary sex characteristics in boys. Now we are talking about primary sex characteristics in girls, mainly girls. The first one we are saying the uterus and the ovaries develop.
The ovaries develop.
Develop. The uterus and the ovaries develop. As you know that it is the work of the uterus to help in conception. The word conception comes from the word to conceive. Conceive, when we say that woman conceived yesterday, it means that fertilization took place in her ovary and the zygote was formed and was taken the part known as the uterus. So the uterus helps in conception or implantation. And then what we call the ovaries. The ovaries will now help in what we call ovulation, in producing what we call mature ova. Remember, The production of mature ova takes place after every 28 days. And when the ovaries have been have produced ova, the ova will take around 3 to 4 days in the oviduct waiting to be fertilized. And if they are not fertilized, then they will all die and come out in form of blood. And that is what we call menstruation period. I told you that menstruation is the period or is the monthly shedding of blood by the uterus walls.
Teacher, you're frozen.
Then, hello?
It's not.
The second one we have ovulation period begins. Ovulation period begins. Ovulation period begins. Ovulation period begins. What do we mean? We are simply meaning that the ovaries will now mature. The ovaries will now start producing mature ova. And if the ovaries have started producing mature ova, means that in the case you have sex as a girl, you are going to become pregnant. When you become pregnant, very many things will happen in your life, including dropping out of school. Some girls will be neglected by the parents. You can be chased away from home, and very many bad things. So we should always protect ourselves against that. Then the third one is that start. Period starts.
Teacher, again is frozen.
Menstruation period starts. Once a girl has reached adolescent stage, the girl will always start menstruating. Girl will start going to the parliament. MP, which stands for menstruation period. Member of
Member
parliament.
of Parliament.
Hello, not member of parliament, but menstruation period. Is it okay? So menstruation period
Yes.
always start with girls. These are the 3 primary sex characteristics that happens in girls during adolescence stage. Are we together? Hello? Wally Jordan.
Pali, they're talking to you.
Wally.
Pali.
Yes,
How is Utuchopi?
it's fine.
That is good. And then I can see you, Parak. Parak, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Where are you now?
Home.
At home?
Yeah.
That is good. Akelu Kezia. Are you getting me? Namonje Prose. How are you? Okay. Now, these are the primary sex characteristics that happens only in girls. The first one, how the uterus and ovaries develop, meaning that they are now ready to do their work because they have already developed. They are now mature enough to do their work, and their work is to reproduce. The uterus will now be ready to receive the fertilized ovum. And after receiving, it will start developing from there, 1 month, 2 months, until it will reach what we call 9 months and 10 days. Then a baby will be produced, and we shall say that woman has given birth. Remember, men do not give birth, but they produce. You have to know the difference between producing and then giving birth. The women will always give birth after producing together with the man. Meanwhile, the work of the man is only to produce. Hmm?
I'm pushing the sperms.
Very good. Pushing the sperms inside there, and then fertilization will take place of that. And then the fetus will start developing in that. Then the next one is ovulation period begins. That is the second one. Ovulation period begins. So the ovaries will now start producing mature ovum after every 28 days. And that one shows that the girl is capable of giving birth of it using. And then another one is that the menstruation period starts. Menstruation period starts. And that one starts. That one is the last one. We are continuing what we call secondary sex characteristics. As I told you that these changes, or these stages, adolescent stages are divided into 4. We have primary sex characteristics, secondary sex characteristics, we have psychological or emotional changes. The last one is out of step adolescence changes. So we have talked about primary sex characteristics in both boys and girls. And now we are talking about secondary sex characteristics in boys. But before talking about secondary sex characteristics, let us look at the definition. Secondary sex characteristics. What is?
These are changes in appearance that distinguish between a growth up man from a mature woman.
Secondary sex characteristics. We are saying secondary sex characteristics are changes that distinguish a grown-up man from a mature woman. Differentiate. What does it mean? The word differentiate. Differentiate is to give the difference between the two. You are now able to know that this is a man, a woman. This is a boy, this is a girl, by looking at that. And we are saying that secondary sex characteristics cannot be called physical sex characteristics. Physical means you are able to see. You are able to see that, okay, this is what the teacher said. I can now see on this girl's body. I can now see on this boy's body. Another name to mean secondary sex characteristics is physical sex characteristics. So what are some of the examples of secondary sex characteristics in boys? In boys, what happens, boys, when they reach that secondary sex characteristics? The first one, you have the sweat glands become more active. The sweat glands become more active. The sweat glands become more active.
More active.
Sweat glands become more active. The sweat glands become more active. Find out that when a person plays even for 2 minutes, you see the person sweating the whole body, because the sweat glands, which help in the production of sweat, is very active. I can see no drop. I can see, yes. What is your question?
The characteristics of secondary characteristics.
Yes.
Characteristics. Characteristics of secondary sex characteristics.
I'm not getting you.
Growth of pubic hair.
Characteristics of pubic hair.
Very good. The first one, we have the sweat glands become more active. And then the second one is growth of pubic hair. Growth of pubic hair, that is good. Growth of pubic hair. Growth of pubic hair. The word pubic comes from the word pubis, which means that areas around the sexual organs. So the pubic hair will start growing. When we say pubic hair, we are meaning the hair will start growing in the armpit. Will start growing down there around your penis or around your vagina. That is what we are meaning. Growth of pubic hair. That one is the second one. Then the third one, we have a voice breaks and deepens. A voice breaks and deepens. The boy who was at the first talking, like, teacher, how are you? The boy will start saying, teacher. Are you getting that? Because the voice will break and will become deep. Then the last one is that general muscular structure showing masculine fissures. General muscular structure showing masculine fissures. The chest will become big. Also, you will put on some kanyama and you will see the person walking like this to show that he's a man. That is what we are meaning. General muscular or general muscular structure showing masculine fissures. The person will develop more, will put on more muscles in order to show that he is a man. Now, then we are saying that in boys, the secondary sex characteristics are influenced by the increased levels of hormones, and these hormones are called testosterone. Testosterone. The hormones that help to influence secondary sex characteristics in boys. They are the ones that bring all about those things we have been talking about. They are the ones who boost the performance of the sweat glands, to make the sweat glands produce more sweat. And that's why we see the sweat glands become more active. All that is the work of the testosterone. The testosterone is mainly produced by the testes, by the testicles. They are going to ask that apart from producing sperms, give any other function of the testes during reproduction. The answer should be use hormones called testosterone. Very good. Are we together? Are we together, children?
Testosterone.
Yes. I think because of time, I have some work to give you, and I think you will do that work. After doing it, then you will bring your work for marking. However, we can first of all go through what we have been talking about briefly, some of the challenging parts. Like the first one, have puberty. I told you that puberty is the period of time when a boy or a girl becomes sexually mature and active and can have a baby but not yet ready. Or you can simply say that puberty is the stage of sexual maturity. Are we together? Yeah, the stage of sexual adolescence, twin child.
They are not getting you. You're frozen. I can't even see you. Teacher.
One network.
Teacher, respond.
One network.
The network is not stable, but anytime from now we shall be clear. I'm now seeing all of you. I'm now seeing all of you apart from Michelle.
Stop this video.
Is there anybody with a question? Anybody with a question? Before we start answering our work, is there anybody with a question?
No.
No question, which means that you are ready. And then you will bring for mark. That's the end of our lesson, and we meet again tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm again going to teach right from 11 a.m. at exactly midday. Is it okay?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
bye-bye.
Have a nice day.
I wish you a nice day. Bye.
Bye. Adios.
See you.
tomorrow.
It's okay. So we are going to send for you the notes. We are sending for you the notes, and down those notes, we have some questions that we are going to answer.
Okay.
I have two activities for you. And the first activity is from number 1 up to number 8, and then the second activity is from number 1 up to number 10, which means that you have 18 activities to answer.
They're frozen.
A nice day. We add on tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
When did you go to the SSC notes? Did you get the SSC notes?
Yes.
It's okay. So we are also sending the one for science, and then you will have to answer those given activity.
Olaya.
Okay.
Bye.
Olaya.
Bye.
Olaya.
Yes.
Who is Send me your number. Eshan.
Yes.
Send me your number. Quick.
I'll send.
I'll send. Shama.